Back to the program. Time for our very special segment for 2019, our new segment. I'm joined in the studio now by Leeann Watson, the CEO of the Canterbury Employers Chamber of Commerce, for our brand new business segment on the show. And it's nice to see you. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Chris.
And Happy New Year. You were telling me off air this yesterday was your first official day back.
It was.
But you didn't have the official day back blues though.
No, I was itching to get back. I've had a nice long break, which is always nice after a busy year. But no, so yeah, really keen to get back and see what's going on around the city and get back into it for 2019.
And I'm glad you're here because there are some things happening in the city, and I think we can always remember that and always acknowledge it, because in the spirit of talkback we can always be overwhelmed by the negative. But there are so many positive things happening in the city, and without the developers or the businesses, we wouldn't have a local economy. For 2019, what are you looking forward to the most, or what do you think people listening and watching this should be interested in?
In terms of the central city?
Yeah.
Look, I think, last year we really turned a corner with the central city. We saw a number of new property developments come on stream. Things like the Terrace, the Crossing, the Hoyts Entertainment Centre, all of those things brought people back into the central city.
Even the library?
Absolutely. The Central Library, Turanga, was a great example of, for many people, that was the first time they came back into the central city. So what that meant is it turned, some of those myths and perceptions around that the central city is actually alive and buzzing. And there was, I don't know if you saw, there was a great write-up by the New Zealand Herald just a couple of days ago on, is Christchurch conservative and boring? Well, actually, no, it's not. It's a great article. And I think it's very easy for residents sometimes to be a wee bit complacent about some of the challenges that we've got. But actually, we need to focus on what we have achieved. And yes, we've still got some challenges ahead, but actually what we've achieved so far, and all you've got to do is get into the central city, experience some of the wonderful things that have been happening with the Buskers Festival, etc., over the last couple of weeks to actually see it's a really exciting place to be.
It is, and what I'm liking now is that we're getting more permanent fixtures, whether it's buildings, whether it's ongoing entertainment. I mean, for example, look, I used to like the transitional movement that happened in Christchurch, but I think there comes a time and place where, to give businesses certainty, you need structure and you need something that's going to be there permanently.
Yeah.
And we're now seeing permanent things. We're now seeing the library, the Intex. These aren't transitional things going. They're here to stay. And I think in turn that probably gives the business community a bit more confidence to even reconsider investing in the city. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we've seen a real turn in investor confidence, particularly in the central city. And that's, based on the fact that we have got some of those permanent things back in the central city. See, increased retail spend, increased pedestrian counts, all of those things provide that level of confidence. But I think it's also recognising that the central city that we've got now and that we will have in the future will be very different to what we've had in the past. And it's very easy to hang on to things in the past. And it's really important that we respect the past and the tradition and the history of the city. But we are going somewhere new, and that's actually been very deliberate because, we had challenges in the central city well and truly before the earthquake. So we've got a unique opportunity, which we need to embrace wholeheartedly to actually build something back that's different and new, and embrace new innovations. Things are different, and sometimes that's challenging, but actually let's get out there and give things a go. The Lime scooters is a classic example. I know that you've probably had, many calls from your listeners on the Lime scooters. That's a fantastic new innovation. Yes, there are some challenges with the Lime scooters, but actually what it's done is it's brought more people back into the central city. It's made it easy.
Every time I'm driving around in my car, in the central city, and you see somebody on a Lime scooter, they are always happy.
Absolutely, yeah, because it's fun, it's something different. And so I would encourage everyone to get out there and actually just try the new things that are available in the central city.
A couple of years ago, there was what was considered to be the donut effect, where a lot of businesses, including this one here, we're in Middleton, where News Talksby used to be right in the middle of Worcester Street there, the old TVNZ building, so we're part of that donut effect. It does feel like that donut, though, is getting smaller, or people are starting to eat it and bite it back again, because I notice here, even where we are situated in Middleton, there are fewer businesses now. They have started to gently return back to the central city. And I guess the question really is, Leeann, though, why do you think that a central city is such a necessity in a place like Christchurch? Because some would say, oh, forget the central city, we've got the malls. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question, and it's certainly been one, again, that's been asked many times, well and truly before the earthquake as well. The central city of any major city is the heart of the central city. If you go overseas, and I know you do a lot of that, Chris, you will go into the central city of those places that you visit. That's the vibrant heart of the central city. So it's really important to actually have that vibrant heart. That's what our tourists are looking for. The central city in the past has always been a place where it has very unique offerings. So you go to any mall, and and malls have their place in any city as well. But generally, most malls have exactly the same offering. What you get in the central city is generally pretty unique. So it's a destination in its own right. You can experience lots of different things. The outdoor dining, that sort of environment that you just don't get in some of the suburban malls is really, really important moving forward.
It is, and I think it is coming back, and it's looking great. And as you say, the central city is just another, you can almost describe it as another suburb of Christchurch. It's where people want to be. But there is something unique about our city. I mean, where else in the world, with the exception of, say, New York, can you go and sit in a public park that's located in the middle of the city?
Yeah.
I mean, things are happening. It has been slow, but slow and steady progress wins the race. For you, looking at the year ahead, it's still pretty much a lot going on. For me, for example, it's definitely got to be a Richard Peebles development with that international marketplace there. We're not talking about tents and the occasional, float or whatever you call them. We're talking about a pretty luxurious looking complex, which I think is supposed to be opened by the middle of next year. That is going to be incredible.
Yeah, look, I think that's going to be one of the highlights of this year. In fact, I think it's due to open later this year.
Riverside, yes, late this year.
Riverside Farmers
Did
Market.
I say next year?
Yeah.
I'm still thinking in 2018, but you're right. Riverside. And what about, and our news talks at Be Family helped come up with that name. I'm very proud of that.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. And look, that'll be, again, something very unique to the central city and to our city. And I think that will provide an opportunity not only for the residents of Christchurch to get back into the central city and try something really different, but also for a lot of very small businesses to be part of the central city. And that's going to be quite unique as well. So look, I think that's definitely going to be one of the highlights. Reopening of the town hall, will appeal to a different level of our residents again as well. So we, eagerly awaiting the opening of that. So look, there's some really exciting things happening in the central city this year, and we're really looking forward to seeing how that unfolds.
What do you see as some of the challenges? What are some of the businesses or members of the Canterbury Employers Chamber of Commerce telling you? What do they want happening? What's their wish list?
Yeah. Look, I think particularly in the central city, it's getting real clarity on things like the multi-use arena. So we've got the commitment now from the council and central government that the stadium or the multi-use arena will be built. But what we want to see is some timeframes, and so when that's going to happen, we need to do some work on extending our summer period. Traditionally, Christchurch is a pretty tough place to be during winter in the central city, so we need to extend that period. So we're bringing more events, more visitors back into the central city. Sort of autumn, winter. So that's going to be a really strong focus for the central city this year to extend that period. I think some of the other challenges that all businesses have, but particularly retailers, the world of retail is changing. So how can businesses again, particularly in the central city, make their retail outlets a real experience, a real destination? What do they need to be doing differently to combat online sales, to actually make their stores a really attractive proposition for people to go and see? So there's lots of challenges ahead, but there's huge opportunities as well. And I think looking at changing some of those myths and those barriers and those perceptions, we're seeing that happen now. We're seeing, as I said earlier, more people coming into the central city. The retail spend is up in the central city. So that's a really positive. So we just need to keep doing more of that. And some really good marketing as well around what is in the central city, because many people still don't know actually what's actually in the central city.
You're right about trying to create these destinations. and create something a bit different to compete with online. For the likes of, I can't think what the bank is now, but one of the banks in the central city now offers various spaces for small businesses just to go along there. I think you can hire the space for free. And what that's done, I know for one of my friends, is now she's more encouraged to bank with that bank because it makes sense, because she can do her work there and have her meetings for free. I think there's a space there, and go to that specific bank. I think quite along from there you've got, I think it's Cashel Square or something like that, and you've got bean bags, and you've got people who will be able to sit out in the sun. Then they're more inclined to get an ice cream down the road, go to that $2 kind of shop, get a massage next door. It is about, it sounds so kind of silly in a way, but you do have to create that experience. Even though I love that supermarket opposite the bus exchange, they've created an experience. I don't necessarily need a coffee, but if I'm going to do my groceries there, I might as well get one, because there's the wee Ruby Cafe there. So it is about creating experiences, and it works. And it's working nicely. It's great to have you on the program. We're going to do this again, I think 2 weeks, is it time?
Yes, absolutely.
And just acknowledge some of the great things happening, and hear from you as a representative of all those businesses in Canterbury making a good go of it. Leeann Watson, CEO of the Canterbury Employers Chamber of Commerce. Nice to have you back on the program.
Great to be back.
It is News Talks.